Economic. Oh, thank you. Okay, let me start again. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for being here. My name is Veronica Corona. I am a business advisor with the Valley Economic Alliance, and I head the Business Assistance Program. And for those of you who are not registered with us yet and get some free consulting from me, I will make sure to share the link on our chat. But I want to tell you a little bit about the Valley Economic Alliance. It is a strategic private-public collaboration made up by governments, corporations, small businesses, educational institutes, and community organizations whose mission is to engage and unite behind the principles, policies, and practice necessary for economic vitality and prosperity, bringing together a sustainable economic future for five cities. The five cities, San Fernando Valley region, including Burbank, Calabasas, Glendale, Los Angeles, and San Fernando, in an area with more than 160,000 businesses, over 2 million residents, and covering more than 400 square miles. But we've also gone beyond the San Fernando Valley because we get clients from other areas out of the San Fernando Valley. So thank you for being here. I will be sharing the link of the chat about the business assistance program, and you can schedule a consultation, a free consultation with myself. I also have a co facilitator with me today. His name is Nick Candu, and Nick is our regional manager of Southern California, regional manager of Southern California for Marble Bridge Funding Group Inc. So I'll give Nick the screen to share a little bit about what he does. Nick, if you like to share a little bit about what you do, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It's nice to see you all here on the panel. Like Frank said, my name is Nick. I work for Marble Bridge Funding Group. We're an alternative source of growth capital for both, early stage and mature companies alike that might not qualify or be ready for traditional bank financing. So we help these companies grow through a various, methods of alternative finance, including but not limited to, accounts receivable, invoice financing, purchase order, and contract financing. So we work with companies that sell goods or services, business to business or business to government, help them cycle their cash more quickly, and allow them to grow at a more exponential rate. And then I was also a small business owner myself for 8 years. Built my company from the ground up and sold my equity stake actually last year. So I've been on your side of the table as well as this side of the table. So happy to answer any and all questions pertaining to small business development and or lending and money, any type of those types of questions.
Thank you, Nick. And thank you for sharing that, Nick, because I should have also said that I'm still a small business owner because I'm an independent business consultant, but I also built a cleaning company that expanded to 21 states. So I eventually also sold it. And so I've been on that other end, and I'm still kind of at the other end at a different capacity. But we want to thank you for being here. Thank you, Nick, for facilitating along with me. And we're both very excited because we're going to be talking about strategic sales, right? Some of you are in business, some of you want to start a business. So we have a little bit of everything today. But one of the things it's really important is we want to start with our vision and clarity, right? Why do you want to start a business? What is the problem that people are going to already pay you to solve? And I share this not just for the beginners, but also for those of you who are in business, because let me tell you, I was in business. I had a cleaning company for 15 years, and I always feel that we get into business and we're just on the go, and we're so in the business that we're not in the on the business, and then we lose track of what was our mission and vision. Why did we even start our business? So that's something I want you to think. Why are you starting the business? What problems are you solving? And who is already doing what you do, and what's going to set you aside? In addition to that, what makes you credible? And I share this because I want you to really start thinking, especially for those of you who are just starting. But those of you, some of you here mentioned somebody's been in business for 37 years, IT in 37 years. You've been in business for sometimes we need that refresher. Trust me, I'm a big believer that we never stop learning. And sometimes we need to remind you. And I'm sure that Nick and I today are going to share things that you've probably already heard. You
Yes,
already heard.
looking
But
forward to it.
yeah, that you've heard, but you need that little reminder, right? I call it like the little slap to wake us up, to get back on the game with our business. So really important. And so part of the sales strategy is like, how do people know that you exist, right? How are you currently promoting your business? What are you doing to promote your business? Because that's tied into the sales strategy, right? What are you doing? Because one of the things that today, as a business consultant, here with Valley Economic, many of the clients that sign up for the business assistance program, they want to grow, everybody wants to grow and make more money. Nick, you could agree with me on this because you're on the other side of the finance, and most of your clients that come to you is because they want to grow. So they need more money because they need to grow, right? But you have to have the systems into place. So can you share a little bit about that? What do you see when we have these clients that want to grow and ready to, they need money to expand because you need money to expand.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it takes money to make money. And so
Yeah.
what I see a lot of is people come to me with a problem. They say, I want to grow and I need money. And I say, well, that's fantastic. How are you going to grow? What's going to get you from point A to point B? What are you going to do with my money, essentially? And so I see a lot of, early stage companies that come to me with that exact problem, but they have no idea how they're going to get from point A to point B. And I say, well, I'm not going to give you any money if you can't tell me what it's going to be used for, or how are you going to get there? And so having a plan, like Veronica mentioned, whether it's your product differentiation, your placement in the market, who your competition is, what their offerings are, how your offerings differ. Do you have these different contracts lined up? Are you bidding? What your plan is? And if I don't see any of that, your credibility kind of goes south. And from a lending perspective, I'm not confident in lending my services to you if you don't have those things already in place.
Thank you for sharing that, Nick. And I like some of you have been in business. I know we have a few people that are just starting business, but some of you have been in business for a while. What are you doing to get out there to network? Because this is one thing that I get quoted on a lot, and I love to share this, but I want you to keep one thing in mind. Your network is your net worth. And if you're not out there creating new relationships or developing new relationships, and most importantly, it's not just, I always say, I'm gonna give you a little like, but I always say it's not about going to networking and like passing out cards like you're dealing poker at a, a gambling table, but it's like really going out there and connecting with individuals and creating authentic relationships that eventually will lead to a follow-up. And it may not lead anywhere, but I'm a big believer that I may not need an IT person right now. But guess what? I know a lot of people that might need an IT person, right? I may not need uniforms, but somebody mentioned they do uniforms. I have a client right now that I know needs uniforms. So remember, you never know how you can connect others because I'm a big believer that the more you give, the more you receive. So when you connect with other people, people are going to remember me that I connected them, right? And whenever they need something today, business consulting, they may remember me. So for those of you who have been in business, can you share? What are you out there? What are you doing because part of your sales strategy should be, I need to get more business, but how are you getting more business? What are you doing? David, Thomas, I think I saw your hand go up a little bit. Would you like to share? You have to unmute yourself. Thank you.
Sure, of course. Well, previously I've run a couple businesses. So referral networks, you're absolutely right. Um, I often would contract to like a hub connector. So for example, if I was selling creative services, I would connect to mid-size creative agencies, and then we would supply the build and design that they couldn't cover.
Mm,
In my current approach, rather than going to every nonprofit, I'm going to go to capacity funding organizations. And so that way you multiply out that network connection.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
And
then lastly, I've also had a lot of success through organizations like this or ones run by the city. I found that to be quite helpful. And then the one that's always surprised me is my banker. I never thought my bank would be as critical, but the banker was the best connector. So
yeah, because he knows, he's looking at your banking account. So he's
they,
like, okay, I can trust him. He can cover,
yeah, they know all the other ones, right?
he
Yeah.
can
So
take care of this.
yeah, yeah.
Right, Nick? Because that's one thing.
Yeah,
Look, are you able to pay
the
your bills?
yeah, the lending community is surprisingly tight knit, is what you'll find. So all the bankers talk to each other. They talk to guys like me in alternative finance. We all communicate with each other. So
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
yeah,
and you
that's
hear the needs, right? You hear the needs
mhm.
directly. So,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because from the lending perspective, not every company fits our
sure,
lending style, and so
sure.
we, as a lender, need to be connected with the other members of the lending community so we can get you placed in the right home.
Yeah, exactly.
David, were you gonna share something? Would you like to share?
Uh, wasn't intending to, but nevertheless, yes, I'll be happy to share something. So, the business itself has been around for 30 years. We are a LA City legacy business, recognized for the service done to the community over the past 20 plus years. But my family, we've owned it for just the past 4 years. And we kind of do very much something that you referred to, and Thomas does and also did, where we network, we reach out, but our problems, our challenges are elsewhere. So we have a whole, like a network of schools that we serve, and businesses. But yeah, we'll probably get to that as we go. But we have the clients, but our problem is we have other challenges in expanding. Like you said, we have reached that bureaucratic stage, and we have to think anew,
Yeah.
afresh, and then that's where we are at right now.
Yeah. So thank you. Speaking of network, I would love to hear from Tracy because Tracy happens to lead a chamber, and she's going to be branching out on her own and become an entrepreneur. So welcome to the entrepreneur world, Tracy.
Thank
And
you.
talk to us about how important it is because you're out there building relationships all the time, being part of the chamber in Solvang.
I think we've been very fortunate and lucky because we have partnered with so many different organizations to make sure, and one of the best ones was prior to pandemic was EDC. And we have over 300 businesses that came through the EDC during the time, and they actually hooked me up with you. So it's kind of interesting. And I love watching what you guys are doing and kind of model. And doing economic development is really what chambers do and what we've done for years, and making sure people are getting funding, make sure people are doing all the things right in startup. And as I move and pivot to my own business, my goal is to make sure that businesses understand every avenue of help they can have from SCORE, from the EDC, SBDC. These opportunities and these programs are amazing. And when some of them are free, low cost, and we don't understand, and people just don't understand what's out there for them. And you get a golden nugget, and then you can build a website from it. You get a golden nugget, and you know how to do your social media differently. And I really like what Nick is saying. And those are things that are very important to the community to make sure that businesses are aligning together, small business, and how we can help each other.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tracy. I can tell you're a true chamber person because I've been involved with the chamber world for many years. So I love hearing that. And it is about supporting and advocating and educating small businesses. So take advantage of these webinars that are free for you. Honestly, I didn't even know how many programs existed until I started my business. And now I just love that I'm able to share so many resources, right? Because there's so many resources out there. And then we have somebody like Nick who comes and supports this organization, the Valley Economic, is here supporting his, spending his time today supporting us to educate the community because, Nick, how important it is when you have these business owners that come to you and this is a full circle moment for me. I met Nick through Valley Economic Alliance, but I use his services, not with him. We didn't know each other, but I use Marble Bridge Services with my janitorial company back in 2021, 2020, 2021, 22. Nick, around that
Yep.
time. I don't know if I mentioned the dates, but what are some of the things that you look at? Because we talk, yes, we want to make money, but do you look at their business plan? Do you look at their sales strategy? Because that's one of the parts that we're talking about. Like, do they have a sales growth plan? And I know like Eric and Ninette and I just had a session and I send them a sales growth plan because it's important, right? Like not just your business plan, but tell us what you look at besides the financials. What other things do you look like? Because I know financials is the number one thing, right? Because that's our foundation of any business. But can you elaborate a little bit more? Because
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. And because we're an alternative source of financing, we focus on a more holistic approach than a bank would when it comes to due diligence and underwriting, stuff like that, because we want to look at the person as well. Marble Bridge, we have a heart and passion for small business owners. We want to help you grow and make sure that everybody has, a fair chance at getting, access to capital. And so what I'll look at is I look at, business owner competence. I want to see, how much experience do you have in your field? How many years in business have you been in a related field if you're just starting your own company? I want to look at, your sales strategy. I want to hear about your plans to grow, especially if you're in your early stages. I want to know how you plan on getting from point A to point B, kind of how I was talking about earlier. I want to hear about some of the challenges that you're facing. I want to see transparency. I want to see all these different aspects from a character standpoint as well, just not just from a business standpoint. So I like to say there's two buckets. You have the personal and then you have the business. And those are kind of the two buckets that I really take a look at. So having a sales strategy, having a business plan, having a roadmap, if you will, goes an extremely long way, in addition to the actual physical credit side of underwriting, which is where we look at the financials. We'll look at, your aging reports. We'll look at all these different aspects. We'll look at bank statements. We'll look at all these different things that are very traditional. And then as a non-traditional lender, we'll look at all the other aspects that kind of we're talking about today that lead to business credibility.
Ooh, do you hear that? Business credibility, because we have to see it's not always about, yes, the numbers are important, but they want to see the whole aspect. So those are things really that we have to take into consideration when we have a business or we want to start a business, especially the ones that already have a business, because sometimes we get a little comfortable and we're just kind of going with the flow, going with the flow. And it's just kind of like, I always say, are you stuck or are you scaling? Because everybody wants to scale, but they're just getting by. And what are you going to do to get out of your comfort zone, right? How are you getting, besides going out networking, I want you to ask this question: how will people know you exist? So I know we have people that rather not go networking. I respect that. As people's like, oh, I don't want to go networking. How will people know that you exist? Anybody want to share? How do people know you exist now? Anybody want to share? How do people know? See, Wendy, Jamshid, how do you want to share? Jenny, you've been quiet. Tracy, you want to, you want to share? Sorry, Tracy, you've already been sharing. You want to share on how people know you exist?
Hi, Veronica. Well, I do try to network. I try to attend different events or spaces where there's nonprofits that I want to collaborate with or align with. And table. We like to table a lot out there in community and different events with nonprofits.
Thank you for that. And I want to thank you, Wendy, for sharing that you go out networking. And I want to elaborate on something really important. It's not just about going out networking and going to all these events all the time or going to the different events, or I'm never going to say just go become a member of your chamber. I really feel that it is really important that you explore the different chambers, the different business organizations, the different communities that are out there that are helping business owners to see where where you feel like you fit in, right? Where you feel fit in, because you can't be going to all these different organizations and you'll never develop relationships that way, right? So where is it? As a matter of fact, here with the Valley Economic Alliance, we also do networking events. So we'll be planning one soon and you're all going to be invited, and you get to meet Nick and myself in person and our staff at the Valley Economic Alliance and many other business owners, because I'm a big believer that you're the power of your proximity. So you like-minded people attract like-minded people. It's who we surround ourselves. And I'll tell you, when I became an entrepreneur, I realized my whole world changed, because I came from working for a big janitorial company to now starting my own janitorial company. So my surroundings had to change, because now I need to surround myself with like-minded people that are entrepreneurs. Because my friends, the ones that weren't entrepreneurs, they didn't understand. They thought I was crazy starting a business. So, which we are just a little bit. Wendy, you have a question?
Yeah, well, I've found that some of those spaces cost money.
Yes, absolutely.
So as a new organization, as someone with a very limited budget or not even a budget, in the
Yeah.
starting stages of it, it's been very difficult to actually get into those spaces when they can be a little bit pricey, because there's definitely so many conventions or bigger spaces that I would love to attend, but the tickets start at $150, $200 that I definitely take my time to look for free events. I've attended some of the networking space opportunities that the Valley of Economic Alliance has provided, and I've made good connections. I found one of my board members there. But so yes, for now, free is really good for me. It works
Yeah,
well.
no, and there's a lot of free resources out there. It's just a matter of looking. Just here with Valley Economic Alliance, this is a free resources. I encourage you to take advantage of. We have Nick here who's sharing his time today. And if you need any guidance, Nick can look at your financials and see if you're Nick, you want to share that? What would you look like
Yeah,
if I'm interested, like, oh, I'm just starting off, but this is where I'm at, I'm on a really tight budget, but like
sure.
I know that you give free consultation. So can you share a little bit about like when I refer you a client from Valley Economic Alliance, I like to for you to say, what do you do?
Sure. Before I answer that, I want to just add one thing to the whole networking scheme.
Yeah.
And there's something that I've from when I was a small business owner to now to even when I would network now, I call it the rule of three. Whenever you meet someone new, you want to ask them to introduce you to three new people, and you want to introduce that person to three new people. And so that's how you can spider wedge your network a lot more efficiently, a lot more quickly. Is every person you meet, the goal should be to meet three new people through that person. And so that's a great rule that I always follow. With regards to, free events, I'd also recommend, the small business development centers. They host a lot of free events, and they also do a lot of, even the paid ones are $10 for a ticket, $20 for a ticket. And when I was first starting my company, a lot of the ways that I got into the door was to bring lunch to everybody. So you make relationships with local, mom and pop shops that do sandwiches or something, and you can bring, sandwiches to a lunch or something like that. But you, it does take amounts of resources to be able to break the door in. But there are a lot of opportunities. So you just need to look in the right place. And that's kind of leading into the next part of Veronica's question is, so if Veronica sends me a person, that's, in an early stage or even a mature stage, the first thing I'll want to do is I'll sit down and have a conversation, and I want to hear your story. I want to hear where you're at in your business. I want to hear where you would like to go, your plans to get there. And then if you're not ready for me just yet, then I want to do what I can to help you get ready for me. And so what that looks like is connecting you with other resources that I have in my Rolodex, or telling you about different events that I know that are going on that I think would be beneficial. All these other things that I like to do for individuals is because I want to be a value add. And that's kind of the mentality I would recommend that you go out in your business is you always want to be a value add because like Veronica mentioned earlier, when you're a value add and you refer someone to someone else, you stick in their brain saying, hey, Veronica helped me out in this instance. I just thought of something that would, be up her alley or something like that. And that's how you can grow your network. That's how you gain credibility, and that's how you can grow, not just as a, business owner, but as a person as well. And so those are all types of things that I like to do. Is it's more than just looking at your financials. It's hearing about your story, where you're at, where you want to go, and how I can help you get there. Whether that's me helping you right now, or in 6 months from now, or a year from now. Those are all different things that I do on my own time.
Yeah, yeah. And Nick, thank you for sharing that because it's about developing that relationship with somebody like Nick, right? Because he might not be able to help you now, but I love that you said it could be 6 months, it could be a year. You never know. And I share this because this always happens through networking. When I had my cleaning company, I'll tell you, man, I would go networking and sometimes I would like get all excited because they wanted a proposal for a building. And then I go give a proposal, and then 5 months go by, 6 months go by, and I just felt like, oh, I don't think I got it. Then a year later, they're calling me. Oh, we've decided we're going to make a change. Is your price still good? No, but it wasn't just about them calling, but I also was in touch with them because Nick talked about like, right? I would be in
Mhm.
touch with them. I would show up. Let me tell you, I'd go to the Vons and buy all the cookies on sale and then go just drop off cookies. I was just in the area, just visiting the area. That's it, kind of a little bit old school because you can't really do that much now after COVID. There was a lot of security stuff happening, or even after 9/11, but definitely after COVID. But I would just go drop off cookies. So it's like you have to stay, it's in the follow-up, right? It's in the follow-up because you continue. It's like, Nick may forget about you, but you can't forget about Nick. So it's like you have to continue being if you want to work with him, or he might be able to help you with other type of resources because that's why I always say again, network is your net worth because you just met Nick and I, but you don't know all the people we know. And you don't know who we can introduce you to, right? And Tracy, you know a lot about this because you're in the chamber world, but that's kind of the way this works. So it's really important to keep that in mind. Let's see, Don just made a comment here. Let's see, I want to make sure. A longtime world-class sports business partner, Andy Wolf, just passed away. I need to do a complete rebranding in our agency and make an aggressive move. Ooh, into, sorry, I can't read the,
NIL.
okay, NIL. Andy had 2 years about with cancer. Last year, it was a very down year. Big industry changes. I'd like to set up a meeting. Oh, of course. Sorry, Don. I thought it was you had a question. I would definitely, I'll share my contact information. Who do you want to set it up with, Nick or myself? Or both of us? Please.
Whatever works.
Okay.
Both wonderful, if it's possible. You let me know. It's time to really think, build. I'm ready for some major moves, but just need a little consulting because it's going to be huge changes to sort of revitalize our agency quickly now.
Okay, well, I'm gonna share it again in the chat so you can have it, Don, because I know you came in later. It's the link to the Valley Economic Alliance Business Assistance Program, and I'd be happy to assist you and connect you with Nick. Nick will be sharing his information as well on the chat, so if any of you want to connect with him. But yes, anything we could do to help you, Don, be happy to connect you with the right people. Anybody has any questions? Because I know Nick and I've been going back and forth, but please feel free to ask us any questions you may have.
Are there
Reggie,
funds? Oh, wait. Oh,
go
I'm
ahead. Yes.
sorry.
Go ahead,
Are
Don.
there, obviously, are there funds? I saw there was a new program. I was sent information. Was it by state of California or CalBid that if you increase, you're willing to add new employees, build your company. Obviously, there's grants funding for that. Where right now we had a difficult year, so I don't have the budget right now to add paid staff, but if I do need it desperately and more support. So I'm wondering what type of opportunities there may be there. And I think this program or application, I think today may be the deadline for that or so if I didn't miss it by a day.
Don, let me double check. I haven't heard about this program. It's through the state of California, you
I
said?
think through the state of California, I'm pretty sure, yeah, for
Okay,
small businesses.
for small businesses. I'm surprised I haven't heard of that. Tracy, because you're in the chamber, well, I'm going to pick a little bit on you. Have you heard of any programs like this? You're on mute, Tracy.
We have some programs happening right now in Ventura County, and they're Ventura County only or Simi Valley only, that are happening right now with EDC and Ventura County. So you would go on the website and look at EDC and look at some of those programs. And there are some programs that are state only based on having 50 or more employees. And that would be through GoBiz. So if you look at the GoBiz, you'll see those.
GoBiz. Okay.
Yes, GoBiz.
Okay. I'll share that in the chat right now.
Yeah, this is for smaller businesses, real small businesses like mine. So thank you. I mean, our business, just best years are like when it was like 2 employees, a partnership with a little staffing, part-time, we were grossing just about $1 million a year. That was about it.
Hey, Don, you said a trigger word that I just want to talk about real quick is you said getting desperate. And I just want to encourage everyone here. Desperate is never a word you want to use. And
Well,
the
I don't
reason
know
why is
how I used it,
okay.
but I don't mean that.
Oh, okay. Okay,
I've
perfect.
never been desperate. I always have
All right.
multiple forms of income coming
I
in,
just want to say because
PR and other things. Sorry.
yeah, that's okay
I
because
guess
what
it's just timing because I lost him. So right now, all of a sudden, there's a lot of business opportunities, but it's me and then one part-time employee and
sure.
interns. So awful hard to take advantage of major opportunities as they're coming in when you have no staff. That's all I meant.
Right.
So
I
time
got you.
sensitive is a better word.
There
Time
we go.
sensitive.
Yeah, because what happens is what I see a lot of is small business owners, they come to me after the fact when it's too late and they've gotten desperate and they take predatory loans. I'm specifically referring to MCAs or merchant cash advances, where they give you, money next day directly into your bank account based on whatever your revenues are, and then they start automatically taking it out of your account weekly, if not daily, at absurdly high interest rates. So for everyone on this call, I want to stress, I can't stress enough, avoid those like the plague. If you have any type of financing needs or questions, or you're not sure, you're not qualified for bank funding and you don't know where to go, please connect with either myself or with Veronica. That's why I exist. And if I can't help you, there's a better than not chance I know someone that can. So just want to make sure we avoid predatory
Yeah, thank
lending.
you. And that in
Yeah,
business, you're right, 100%. You never want to appear desperate, and
yeah,
you can't be desperate. You have to make smart choices, not the only
yeah,
choice.
Yeah. Uh,
exactly.
And thank you, Don, for sharing. Nick did put his information in the chat. Tracy also happened to share some great resources, and just for all of you, so you know, we will do a follow-up email, and we'll have all this information for you with Nick's contact, and then my contact with the Valley Economic Alliance. Thank you, Tracy, for sharing all that amazing information that can help our group here today. Anybody have any questions? Anybody want to share something that's coming up through this conversation? Like an aha moment? Even if you've been in business 20, 30 years? Reggie, you've been a little quiet. Eric, Nanette, what's coming up? I know that you're starting off. What's coming up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very new at all of this, right? So I don't have a lot of any real experience, but in my world, working with the deaf community, some things that came to mind for me in answering the question of like, how do people know that you exist? Well, for me, it's important for me to be part of my national governing body. So whatever licensure or certifications that any of us have, make sure to be connected with those organizations. And I specifically am on a registry. And so when people don't know where to look for an interpreter in the Southern California area, my name is on, they just go to that website, my name's there. So that's where I get some of the contacts that I
Yeah.
get. So that was one thing that came up to share in this. Another was certainly networking, but for me personally, I need to network with deaf people because I work with interpreting between deaf and hearing people. So making sure that I'm going to deaf events, I'm building the friendships because it's so the community is a collaborative community, and if they don't know you, they don't trust you, and that type of communication, accessibility relationship that I need to build with the people that I'm working with has to have trust in it because I'm interpreting highly sensitive information, people's personal lives, people's financial, everything, day in and day out. So, uh, networking, like you said, find the organization or the places that are most comfortable for you, the ones that you fit. So for me, it's working with deaf people, right, in deaf spaces. And then the third thing for me that's been helpful, even just now, kind of pivoting what I'm looking to do is doing pro bono work in the spaces that I'm looking to work in. So
Yeah.
offering my services at no cost, just to get to know new people that it's a different type of networking. Or even I went to I volunteered for my a middle school's career day. And my kids don't go to that school yet, but I'm looking for them to maybe go to that school. And most of the other professionals that were there, they didn't even have kids at the school. It was just people that wanted to just share what they do and be in community for a day. And we actually all shared with each other what we do and exchanged information. So that, again, it was another way of just connecting with people that I never would have met before, doing completely different things than I do. But we also learned from each other, made connections in the Valley. And I was also helping a school at the same time. And anyway, so those were the three things that came up for me to answer your question, and that were kind of like, you know what, this has been working for me. I need to do more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Nanette. That was a great information you shared. It. Keep in mind, so now we all know a deaf interpreter, right? Because right here, if any of you know this, but she has a niche market. She has a very unique niche market. And so it's a specialty. It's not your average business. So it's really important that and I love what you said because that community wants to trust you. Right. I don't want to say that community, but the deaf community wants to trust you. So you need to build that trust and you're already in the right path. So but That's in any community. You have to build the trust. I'm not just going to go to the yellow pages anymore. It's about building that trust, right? Connecting with, actually connecting with people. David, I see you kind of like wanting to raise your hand. Yes, share with us, please. You're on mute. Okay.
Thank you. I was just excited about what Nanette said because our business, we try to reach out to people with special needs, and we want to make it a deaf-friendly environment because a lot of businesses are not set up to help people with such disabilities. And we have a deaf person working with us. And we'd like to see with Nanette to see how we can maybe we can get her help to build around that. So it's a side thing, but networking and see how we can really take that concept forward, even to other businesses if possible. Thank you.
See, there you go. Just by being here, there's already a connection that was built. That's the power of getting out there, joining webinars, going networking. We will also be having a mixer event, a networking mixer soon at Valley Economic Alliance. Reggie, yeah, I see you raising your hand. Please.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to chime in. While a lot of us are very active in events like the chamber, let's say BNI also, I think for me, in my experience, is the more important thing is building real relationship. Because we can collaborate with many people, but if we do not have that relationship, especially trust, it's kind of difficult. You just get your name out there, people know that you exist, but without trust, people will not gravitate to you. Just my business is actually assisted living educators, and I deal with the most vulnerable segment of the society, the elderly. And if you don't get the trust of the families that you deal with, it's difficult to get a business. So trust is very essential. Relationship building is very crucial in my line of business. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Say, Reggie,
Yeah.
that's huge for the lending. For whoever you're getting connected with, whether it's your banker, whether it's me, whether it's whoever is going to be offering you or lending you money, that is something that is building trust on our side of the table. If I don't trust you as a person, I'm more than likely not going to lend you money. So that's a huge step to do as well. Build a banking relationship, build your lender relationship, even if, like I said, even if you're
Uh-oh, Nick froze.
not ready to fund yet, having that relationship is a tremendously long way.
Yeah. It's all relationships, relationships, relationships. And you know what? Everything's in the follow-up. I want to share something, and not because Nick is here, but because Nick is here, I want to share this. So with the Valley Economic Alliance, I started back in July, and we have like these monthly meetings where we meet with our experts in residency, with Nick happens to be one of them. And there's several. I don't know, we have a long list of experts in residency, but there's always two that follow up with me or check in with me, because I'm here on a part-time basis, but I'm like, oh, I need to reach out to them because I see their emails, and Nick is one of them. And what is he doing? He's building a relationship not just with myself, but with the Valley Economic Alliance. So I share that because then what happens, out of sight, out of mind, right, Nick? Out of sight, out of mind, like,
Absolutely.
but when somebody's constantly following up with you, they're going to remember. And for those of you who have been in business, and for the new ones too, but keep this in mind. When was the last time you reached out to some of your clients that you haven't done business with in the last 6 months, 1 year, 2 years? When was the last time you reached out to them? You don't have to answer. I want you to keep that in mind, right? Because you never know, just because they're not ordering uniforms or they don't need any kind of home care or any kind of services, IT services right now, or haven't used them in a year, that doesn't mean they don't need them now. Because sometimes, here's what been my experience, is that a client will change because they're not happy for something, or most of my clients that I lost when I had my cleaning company had to do with pricing, because somebody always came in cheaper in the janitorial world. And you know what, though, I still kept in touch with them, and eventually, you know what, they give me the contract back because they changed because of price, not because of service, but then the service was not the best. Right. So sometimes we as a client, oh, I don't know if I want to come to call Thomas because I went with this other IT person, but they suck. Sorry, they don't do well, and I need to go. But then I'm embarrassed to go back to Thomas because I had Thomas he was my IT guy for 20 years, but I chose this other person, and I'm almost embarrassed to tell him that I'm working with somebody who I don't like, right? But if you don't reach out to me, Thomas, out of sight, out of mind, right? But then one day Thomas calls like, "Oh, Thomas, glad you called me. You know what? I need you to help me with some IT stuff," right? And I might not even say I don't like the other guy, but I'm just sharing this because this happens. Nick, I'm sure that you get clients like that want to go explore. Hey, the hard
Oh
lending,
yeah.
the hard lenders.
I just so actually I'm about to sign a client that I've been working with since last July. And I was working with them. They're like, we're gonna see if we can go find someone better, basically is the answer they gave me. And they went out and they went shopping and they realized that their business on its own merits doesn't qualify for traditional lending, which is why they were sent over to me in the first place. And they go through this whole thing and they're like, hey, Nick, yeah, you were right. And I'm at this point where it's like, hey, by all means, go explore your options. If you can find something better, I'll be the first one to encourage you to take it. But I'm going to be here. And
Yeah.
so I checked in periodically, time after time. And I will say this, the rule of three also applies to building relationships, where just because you have a lunch with someone one time doesn't mean you have a relationship. It takes at least 3 points of contact
Yeah.
before you can start considering it a relationship. And so the keys, like Veronica mentioned earlier, is in follow-up. And that's kind of what the process we had to go through with this particular client. And they've reached back out and they're like, hey, you know what? All right, we went out, we shot, but we like working with you the best. So let's go through with it. And that's just kind of how it is. And it was the same thing when I was a business owner. I ran a physical therapy clinic and we were in a saturated market and I had to sell my doctor as opposed to all the other doctors that they've been working with. And so I took them all to lunch, brought lunches to their office. And it wasn't just one time, it was, once every couple months, points of contact, checking and bringing coffee to the nursing staff every morning, all these different things to show that I'm a relationship guy and I won their business because of the relationship. Yeah, our product was good as well, but the reason why we got an even opportunity to have the product is because of the relationship that was built ahead of time. So don't think you're like, oh, I like talked to this person, I had one Zoom meeting or one coffee with them, but I never heard from them again. Well, yeah, you had one meeting with
Yeah.
them.
One meeting is not enough, right?
Yeah.
I also want to share, I feel like there could be a little bit of collaboration, Eric, with Thomas.
Oh yeah.
Thomas is in IT. Eric
Oh,
is starting.
and
Sorry,
Veronica. Oh yeah, wait. I had one comment for Eric and Nanette. Sort of idea when you're finished.
Okay, so no, I just wanted to say, Eric, you should connect with Thomas because Thomas is in IT, Eric is thinking IT, and I feel there could be some strong collaborations there because I'm a firm believer that there's enough piece of the pie for everyone. Okay, because when I started my business in 2008, my cleaning business, it was over 2,000 thousands of janitorial companies in the Los Angeles County, and I managed to grow it. So I'm big on collaboration because if anything, remember people do business with you because of you. So nobody steals anybody's clients. Nobody. It's that relationship building. I love the 3 points of contact, the power of three. The 3 points of contact. So just keep that in mind, because I feel like there could be a very strong connection between Thomas and Eric. As far as Eric, I know you're starting off. Thomas has been in business 37 years. How can there be some form of collaboration? So just wanted to make sure I said that. And Don, yes, go ahead and share what you
Yeah.
wanted to share.
I think you succeeded, Veronica, because over the years you never trashed your clients. But
Never, never, never.
anyway,
Let
but
me tell you, they
seriously,
still call me today.
that's good. You built real relationships. In regards to Eric and Nanette, their business, I again one of the businesses I run, world class sports celebrity, sports talent agency. There's a woman who ran in the Olympics, and she also ran the Paralympics, and she was blind, legally blind, Marla Runyon. There's also other athletes like that, very bright, educated woman, successful, great speaker. If you can tie your business to something bigger and have that voice who's going to grab you attention, I think it could help because what you're doing is, incredible. So that's my thoughts. And,
Well,
anyway,
well,
happy to
Don,
help. Thank you.
we need to connect you with Nanette. So you guys need to exchange information. I invite you, we're almost getting time to wrap up. Share your contact information on the chat. So anybody who wants to connect with you can connect with you directly. I mean, we do have you all be connected to me, so I'll find a way to connect you all you'll be connected with Nick and I, but we'll figure out a way to connect you all. But for now, if you want to share your information, before we wrapped up, I like to go around I was gonna say around the room, but around the Zoom, right? And share any thoughts with Nick and I on what came up for you during the session. Just one thought that came up. Anybody want to share? Jamshid, you've been very quiet. Jenny, we haven't heard from you.
I like to listen, so more
Okay.
than anything else. Well, whatever you guys have said is very valid. I just want to add a couple of things. When I started my business, I hired a consultant, to help me, which was great move, because when you're starting up, you don't know many things. And one thing that I remember from what he said to me is that untold is unsold. So that's one thing you guys want to remember. So it's very important to tell everyone what you do, and you have to make sure they value what you do, and it's beneficial to them. So be specific on who you tell your story.
Yep. It's in your story, right? People do business with you because of your why. When I
Right.
first met Eric and Nanette and hearing their why, especially Nanette with the deaf community, I was like, I never even thought of this. I'm in the business community and I didn't think of this. So really important. And Jamshid, you too need to connect with Eric because you've been
Yeah,
in
I
IT for
I just send him my email
yeah.
and my phone number. The
Yeah.
second thing is that it's very important to be structured, and especially when you want to gain more business, and there are only a limited number of avenues that you can promote yourself.
Yeah.
And one important thing is that I've done throughout the years and been very fanatic about it is that every week I send a tech tip to my existing clients and people that I know, and I share with them, I think Tracy said nuggets, I share with them relevant information about IT that is beneficial for all the small businesses. And I
Oh,
get, that's the way I keep myself in front of their eyes, because I provide a valuable information, and it takes me a long time to put all that together in in like less than a 1,000 word format, so they can just glance at it and say, oh, this is important, mainly security, because IT has changed itself and it's all about security.
yeah. Yeah.
So I know, but those are the two things I wanted to say. But I appreciate your conviction to help the community, and
Yeah.
that is very important to me.
Thank you. So please take advantage of this as free resources. Nick, we're getting ready to wrap up. Is there something you'd like to say to leave everybody with? Something in closing remarks?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are all doing the right thing and being here, taking the first step, getting connected. Veronica's a fabulous resource. It's been a pleasure working alongside her for the past few months, and I would just encourage you all to reach out. For me, there's a couple of people that even during this this Zoom, a couple of people that popped into my head that I need to reach out to. So if you had that kind of spark in your head, take the time, reach out to that person that kind of came to mind, get connected with Veronica and myself. Even if you're not ready for the stage that you're at in your business, and it's just good to pick our brains, what you need to do to get to the next step, any ideas. I mean, that's exactly why we're here. So I would encourage you to take those next steps.
Thank you, Nick. And for me, something in closing that I wanted to share because it's tied into the whole sales strategy builds revenue, but revenue builds credibility, and credibility builds the lending opportunity. So keep that in mind because we kind of talked about all this stuff about having that credibility and building the relationship more than anything. And because you're not going to get funded because you need money, you get funded because you've built something fundable. Right, Nick?
Yeah,
Closing that for you.
everybody has it's idea versus execution. Everybody has a great idea, and there are people that fund ideas, but they're very few and far in between. So,
Yeah.
if you have something that's actually scalable, you have a physical, outcome is great. And then the other thing I would say is when you do come and talk to lenders, be humble. The amount of people that I talk to that come in, this sense of entitlement, they think that their idea is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And from a lending perspective, it's like, look, well, we're looking for something tangible, not just an idea. Like I said, if you're looking at that's venture capitalist, that's those types of realms, which are, those ideas are very few and far in between. So, and then I would say ask questions, ask your lender questions. We love them. It shows that you're coming from a place where you want to learn, you want to grow. But yeah, the sense of the entitlement that I see a lot of is, it rubs us the wrong way. So just be, yeah, be yourselves.
Be yourselves. I love it, Nick. Thank you. Any questions? We have 2 minutes left, and I want to be respectful of your time. Anybody has any questions before we close up? We will be sending a follow-up email. I do have a little handout for you that will be included in that email. We'll be sending Nick's information as well, and then some of the resources. Thank you, Tracy. I saw your resources that you shared. I appreciate that very much. Any questions? No, everybody, you learned everything from Nick and I today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Not
very
so much a
much.
question, but thank you. Thank you
No,
so much. It's been
Thank
very
you.
helpful.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
enjoyed it
Thank
very
you.
much.
no, thank
Take
you
care.
all. We appreciate your
Great,
time.
Veronica.
And thank
Great,
you.
great event today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
I appreciate it.
Veronica.
We look forward to hearing more from you, Tracy. Thank you, because I know you have a lot of resources and very knowledgeable. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you
a good
all.
day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch, Eric. Okay.
Okay, everyone's, yeah.